I don't think it would have mattered if it was a $75,000 lawyer or a $500,000 lawyer. I think we would have got the same outcome.
All right. Thank you, Oda.
Thanks for coming up, man.
Appreciate you coming up. Jalen Speaks the Truth wants to come up and say something.
Hello, y'all. How y'all doing today?
I'm doing well, Jalen. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. About the situation, I think both sides in the wrong. Austin Metcalf should have left Karmelo Anthony alone, and Karmelo Anthony should never stabbed him. Both sides was wrong.
I agree.
Yeah,
I have no dispute with that. I think if they wanted Karmelo Anthony out of there, the brothers should have approached the coach, approached an adult that has authority on the campus, and asked for him to be removed. That would have been the use of authority, right? Because those kids don't have authority. So, but I don't think a push equals use of deadly force. I don't think that warrants it by any means. I know the use of force-based tricks wasn't law enforcement, was a corrections officer. I understand what the law says a proper use of force is, and someone pushing you does not mean stab in the heart. It doesn't warrant that. I think that's a huge leap. It's sad. I think that, he should face the penalty for murdering somebody. However long that is, that's based on the judge's mandatory minimum that he is basing things off of, and I have no say-so in that.
Yeah, I think Karmelo Anthony got a new appeal. They said he probably gonna be released early soon, but Karmelo Anthony was in the wrong. But and what's so bad about that? You got people on social media talking about they were pissed on Austin Metcalf grave. That was 100% right. I turned it off. I couldn't take it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. If
Yes,
you
sir.
gonna bring up the other people.
No, sir.
All right, thank you for joining Jalen on Jalen Speaks the Truth. Have a good day.
You too.
Hey, bring back. Listen, after we get through everybody, bring Go back up. He's still in the chat talking shit. I ain't afraid of his ass.
If he wants to come back up after the next two people come up, he's more than welcome to.
People, Goat, if you're still in here, man, come on up. Come on up. I would love for you to demonstrate to people why people like you.
Here's the reason why I dropped them. TOS.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you're going to be engaging on someone else's channel, you need to have the decorum and operate within TOS. All right. And when you're making a bunch of attacks, slurs, name calling on both sides, you got to operate in TOS.
That was on me.
Both of you.
I got drawn.
So, that's all I got to say there. I'm going
to listen. I'll give you this. If you bring him back up, I'll make sure I stay within TOS.
All right. I appreciate that. Now, I'll bring up this next person, but this next person is special to me because I'm just gonna let this video play.
Are you gay and looking for love? Are you having a hard time? Are you wanting to find meaningful connections, not just guys that want to pull their pants down, show you their Johnson, and make you suck their dick while you're trying to read a book? Do you find yourself striking out at your local gay watering hole? Strike one, strike two, strike three, and nobody just seems to be interested in your gay ass? You should contact the Hudsman, the dating coach for the gays, Philly's best. So if
shout out to the Hudsman.
Fucking Huds. Oh my God.
I swear to God, man.
God almighty. I was like, what? Whose intro is this? Holy God.
Glenn, that'll never stop being funny, I swear.
And everybody thinks it's a dig at you. And it's like,
that's trolling.
Huds knows that it's a joke. I made it for him.
Yeah. It's not serious, but it's definitely very funny. Definitely very funny. Love you guys. Glad to hop on. I haven't been doing this haven't done this in a while. And Don, I know we've been talking like on the side. This I've been following this case, and oh my God. I think what everybody is missing when they're trying to throw in this like whole racism aspect of it, it just comes down to like the baseline law and rules.
Hold on, you guys, real quick. Do you guys mind if I bring up grid 1 as well?
Sure.
Since it's not okay. Grid, you're coming up. Go ahead.
Hey.
Yep.
What's up, Blair?
where I'm at, like in my thought process, like when that other guy came up, like first off, he came on like very aggressive right off the bat, which I thought was just kind of not setting a setting a good starting point. But it comes down to a couple different things. One, let's talk about levels of aggression. When he's saying, all right, if somebody puts their hands on me, or somebody punches or pushes me, hands versus knives are different levels of weapons. You cannot escalate past a certain level. And
yeah, it's the use of force metrics.
Yep, exactly. So first off, that's wrong. Second off, when we're talking about like monkeys, let's also talk about when we call people white trash. Like, okay, we call people trash based on behavior. We add white trash in front of it because it's specifically for like white people trashy behavior. It's the same thing with monkey. It's the same thing with cracker. It's the same thing with all of us. It is just speaking on, it's not racist, so to say, but it's speaking on it's speaking on the actual issues of baseline behavior within a society. And if you're going to break baseline behavior within a society, I don't care what race you are a monkey, you are trash, you are garbage. Like, you deserve what comes based on the laws of a society. It's not complicated, and I don't understand why we're still trying to make it complicated.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people watching fail to understand is that chimping out is not specific to black people. Okay, chimping out is a behavior. It's not a race. That's what it is, right? But when there's one race of people that are all, that are not all, but when there's a race of people, when there's an activity of, like monkey behavior, these teen takeovers, and most of the people appear to be black, that's when the moniker comes about. But they take offense to it because people actually have pattern recognition. And I'm telling you right now, and you guys just heard it with GOAT, black people in America, American black people, they are the most racist people on the planet. They are absolutely the most racist people on the planet. They wouldn't admit it, but they absolutely fucking are. They absolutely are. This guy GOAT came up trying to threaten me. Like, I'm afraid of his punk ass. Please. But again, the fact that he came up and literally threatened me, you ain't gonna stand next to me. This is exactly the kind of behavior that we're talking about. These are the kinds of people that we need to weed out of society. Okay, we need to buy an island for them. I don't put them in Nebraska. Put them on a reservation. A lot of people don't realize this. The American Indians, Native Americans, they weren't these peaceful people that history tells us about, right? History tells us that Native American Indians came up and all they wanted to do was smoke the peace pipe and meditate. No. These people wanted to smoke weed. They wanted to drink. They wanted to be savage. They were shooting people with bows and arrows for no reason. So they tried to assimilate them into the United States. The Native Americans could not assimilate. So they said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to come up with reservations where you guys can go and break all the laws you want and do all the Native American stuff. That's what I believe needs to happen. I believe that there needs to be a reservation for a certain group of people, regardless of race, who engage in monkey behavior. It just so happens that in this country, most of them happen to be black.
Why do you think, Don?
I want to get Grid in here. Grid, you've been listening to the debate. What is your thoughts on the debate so far?
Oh man, where do I even start? Well, I mean, the first thing is that if you're not, if everybody's going to just agree that the guy's guilty, and they're really only trying to now argue about what they believe the severity of the charges should have been, well, that's a stupid ass argument, and I honestly don't care to hear it because you have no. What does it matter? You're not a legal scholar. You're not a judge. You're not a fucking prosecuting attorney. What the fuck? I mean, why would we listen to you? It's irrelevant. But now what you could say is you could say, well, I think 35 years was a little stiff because he's a kid. Well, okay, but he was a kid who was throwing up thug life, pictures and videos on his Facebook. His socials were scrubbed immediately after so that you would have this whitewashed, and I did purposely use the term whitewashed, motherfucker, so shut the fuck up. This whitewashed version of this kid, specifically so that men like Donovan could say, "Hey, there's something wrong here. I don't believe that shit." And I believe Donovan called it correctly, right? And it's not a day of behavior that we're talking about. We're talking about a lot of behavior.
Grid, you're roboting. You're roboting, Grid. Are you driving?
I'm fucking driving. I'm in my truck. I'm sorry. I apologize. Where did it leave?
You're still robot. You are Mr. Roboto.
No.
Tommy arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Great. Hop back on when you
Damn,
have
it
better.
is robot. Yeah, all
Hop
right.
back on when you have better service. All right.
Domi arigato.
Domi arigato, Mr. Roboto. All right. So, does anybody else want to come up? I know Donovan had opened the floor again to Goat. If Goat is listening and he wants to come back up here,
He ain't coming
Donovan
back up
said he will take you on.
Yep.
As long as you're going to practice decorum.
I will practice decorum. You have my word on that.
All right, real quick, while we're waiting for somebody to reply on Goat's behalf, I'm going to read some of these super chats here. We got $5 from the Raging Patriot. It says, Fatty on the feminist emotional roller coaster of cope and hurt feelings for being called out on his BS. Donovan owned you, bro, and bodied you. Shut the fuck up. All right. Another $2 from the Raging Patriot. It said, hit the like and sub up, send donos to Glenn. Yes, give me money. Give me your money. I want your money. Luke Perry, 28, says, Goat is not a one-on-one fighter. He's the type that needs 5 of his buddies with a $10 super chat.
Yeah, this is why I called him a nigga, because niggas, look, dude, nigga kryptonite is 1v1. It's always 1v1. And then when something is done to neutralize their advantage, like, oh, you didn't want to take on all 5 of us, you were scared. Get out of here.
All right, and the best Texas detailer Viking out there, Donovan. He says the first time I dungeon master a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, I want Glenn, Huds, and Donovan in the party.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I am so down for that. I'm so down for that. That would be so much fun.
All right, Grid, you're back. Are you Mr. Roboto? Are you?
I don't think so.
No, he's not.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's
Okay,
my thing. Here's my thing on this whole thing. If ending a life, if stabbing somebody in the heart, is murder that's unwarranted, right? This is what he was charged with. Person that's charged and convicted of murdering someone, which is an unlawful killing. I don't think pushing someone justifies murder or stabbing somebody in the heart. That's not a proper use of force. And I don't think that that's a good defense. So if said person stabs some person in the heart, the person that stabs that person in the heart should go to jail. I don't care the color of skin. I don't care. It's principle. To me, it's all principle. I think if we go back and base things on principle, Grid, we had this conversation Saturday. Right?
I know.
That things would be a lot easier. If you tell a lie one time, a white lie, like you tell Huds that he's attractive when we know he has a face only a mother could love, right? When we lie to Huds about that, or if we lie and say that Glenn Lawrence is the most attractive man in the world, you're still a liar to me. You are willing to deceive me. You're willing to be dishonest with me. That's the principle, and you are unworthy of trust. You have proven yourself to not be trustworthy, right? So if you murder somebody and someone's life, right, when there was no need to escalate that use of force on a reasonable doubt, and that's what was charged here, then you should deserve to face the price of taking someone's life out.
Yeah, I agree with you, Glenn.
Quite frankly, he got off easy. The fact that he's not going to be let out soon, like I was almost laughing when I heard somebody else said that.
Yeah, that's
it's 17 and a half. It's got to be 17 and a half. But if he was elsewhere, it could be even stricter. So, like, honestly, he got out easy. And Don, that's what I loved about when you talked about this whole thing on your stream. Like, he got off easy for what he did.
Really did.
Let's keep that in mind.
He did. Now, I want to make it clear. I do believe that he got off easy. Okay. But I don't have I don't have a problem with the sentence. I really don't. I think it should have been longer, but I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, right? I can complain until I'm blue in the face, but okay, he got 35 years, which means he'll likely get out. If he gets out at 17 and a half years, if he, if he's granted parole, I mean, it is what it is. He got off light, but I truthfully don't have a problem I don't have a problem with the verdict or the sentence. Because
real quick, we got another super chat coming in from Ghost. He said, in cases, hold on, where'd it go? I lost it. It says, in cases like this one, the head of the victim's family should choose the sentencing.
Oh, good.
Metcalf said life.
That's an interesting point. I never thought. Yeah. I mean, that's not how our justice system is done.
I understand that, but this is why you are tried. This is why there are conflicts of interest, right? That would be the equivalent of putting members of the Metcalf family on the jury. That would be putting members of the Anthony family on the jury. So if you have the family determine what the sentence is, they're not going to be as objective as they need to be. Because if it were up to Jeff Metcalf, then Karmelo Anthony he'd be on the penal planet somewhere, right? That's just how that goes. So no, I don't agree with the fact that we should have let Jeff Metcalf, sentence him, but that's, I think, what the victim impact statements are for.
I want to welcome John Galt to the stage. Good morning or good afternoon, John. How you doing, sir?
Hey man, how's it going?
How is the rental properties on the East Coast?
It's on fire, man. The more government regulation, the better things get. They squeeze one side, the other side pops out a little bit bigger,
Love that stuff. Where are you from?
I'm from Alabama originally, but I live in Washington, D.C. in New York.
Oh, you're in D.C. now? Nice. Yeah, I used to live in the Alexandria area.
So, John, you've been listening to the debate on the whole Karmelo thing. What is your opinion of this?
Well, I think, the general thing is, there's a lot of different ways I can go with this, but you got to deal with a lot of blacks. I rent to them and stuff like that. And so one of the things that stuck out to me was a lack of maternal love there. Maybe you could even say paternal love. I've been on trial before. I can't imagine my mother abandoning me during sentencing, abandoning me during the victim statements. I can't even imagine that. But I can imagine it when I consider my tenants and the lack of maternal love that they receive from their parents. And I see it manifests itself out on the streets and stuff like that. So it's not surprising to me. I think that his parents abandoned him for the grift. At some point, they realized, I got to make a living. I got to keep living out here. This boy is clearly guilty. So let's keep the grift going. I think that at some point, they probably were told to plead guilty. But if they had pleaded guilty, the grift would have stopped. So they sacrificed him for the grift. That's what I believe.
That's terrible, man.
The optics look like that. I'm not going to lie to you, because when sentencing came, his parents were nowhere near to be. They were on a podcast right afterwards. And to me, it seemed like it was more about the grift than saving their child from, life behind bars.
I don't think that's initially how it started. Initially, probably the first day.
Yeah. But I'm talking about at the end of it. That's what was.
I think almost like from the beginning, they chose to go the direction of choosing Dominic Alexander and those people that led them down the road of the grift. And at that point, they made a choice to sacrifice their son. It may have been implicit. It wasn't explicit. Like, he was going to sacrifice this boy for money. But I think implicitly that's the choice that they made. And the grifters around them, they had no problem sacrificing him. Hell, they were going to get paid. So he's just another number for them. Not like any of the other blacks.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, that's what I believe. Because if you know blacks the way I know blacks, their backs are up against the wall. They're very, very, very money focused, and so at some point, money will outweigh the maternal love. That's what I believe.
Wow, you really think so?
Hell yeah, I've seen it many times. Hell yeah, I've seen it. So it's not surprising to me. I've seen mothers abandon their own children for a new man. You think about Baby Boy, the movie Baby Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. And oftentimes they'll abandon their son, and he got to go find a place to live. He called me up. Or maybe even the mother will call me and say, "Hey, take my boy off my hands so I can get me a new boyfriend in this house," because they're bumping heads with each other. Things like that. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
So do you think this is a subculture thing?
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of things going on there. From the jump, I said, why in the hell would these blacks go live in a conservative district area? There's nothing wrong with that. The day before Karmelo stabbed that boy, they probably were extolling the virtues of their neighborhood. The day after he stabbed the boy, the people are racist and prejudiced. And that is the problem with blacks. Love the trappings of living around whites until they get a white jury or a non-black jury, as they would say. And then they don't like the trappings of living around whites, and they call them racist and stuff like that. I live in the ghetto around blacks. I take phone calls almost every day where blacks don't want to live around other blacks.
Yep.
So I want to read the U.S. Texas Penal Code 9.32.
Yes.
Deadly force in self-defense may be justified when you reasonably believe it is immediately necessary to protect yourself from someone's unlawful deadly force, or prevent immediate commission of aggravated kidnapping, murder, sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, robbery, or aggravated robbery. Texas also allows deadly force to protect another person's life under Penal Code 933, but only when you reasonably believe that the person would be justified using deadly force themselves and your intervention is immediately necessary. So meaning that you believe that someone was going to use deadly force and you're saving somebody else's life, right? But right here, protect yourself from someone else's unlawful deadly force.
Yeah.
A push does not warrant that does not consider unlawful use of deadly force.
Well, see, that's why it took so long to go through it, because if you take into consideration they're on concrete steps, like pushing somebody, you could fall back, hit your head. That's probably why they dragged all this type of crap for so long. But you're correct. It was point blank.
They were on metal steps. They weren't on concrete steps. And even if he had backwards, he wouldn't have hit his head because of the positioning of everyone in the tent. They were parallel.
Yeah, and so that's what they were arguing. Or at least that's how I think they tried to argue it. But it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. And
but what I want to justify is a push is not considered deadly force,
of course,
unlawful deadly force. So even if he pushed him, that doesn't mean he gets to stab him in the heart. That is escalating to deadly force when a deadly force was not being utilized.
Yep.
Correct.
And that's why he's convicted. It's not because of race. It's because the metric of force being used. If he would have if Metcalf pushed him and he would have punched him, that would have been within the margins of force. And it would not be considered deadly force. The fact that he went from he abandoned fist fight and went straight to a weapon.
Yep.
That is where the escalation jumped to deadly force. And that's why it's considered unlawful use of deadly force, because there was no stopping of previous attempt of deadly force onto him. You know,
no, I agree 100%.
So, gentlemen, I do appreciate you guys' time on here. We've been going for almost 3 hours. I don't think that Mr. Goat is gonna come back.
I actually know he's streaming it on his channel, because anytime I make a comment in here, it tells me that my comment was blocked on Goat's channel. Goat, nobody's watching your monkey ass, bruh. Fuck out of here.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I don't see Goat streaming on mine, or he's not still using mine. He must be streaming some other how.
Yeah, maybe.
Who? Goat?
Goat.
Yeah, this goat debater guy who came up and he sounds like he smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
You talking about Taz?
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, Taz is very black first.
White boy crack.
Yeah, Taz has a hard on for white people.
I got called a racist, and I didn't even do anything racist.
Yeah, dude, they called both him and dude, Fatty. Let's just talk about Fatty for a second. Fatty did not acquit himself well at all. All this fat nigga did, he talked over people. Let me finish. Obfuscate, moving goalposts. Well, you said this, but let me show you something somebody else did 5 years ago that proves that what you did. Get out of here. Low IQ.
I will say this. This is my response to the debate prompt, because I'm the one that made the prompt. You guys had to agree to it. Now, Fatty and his panelists are accused of racism. So I would say that Fatty won in the sense that he is. You could not prove that he was a racist, but you did prove that he had a panelist that he was a racist. So in that sense, you did prove that there was a racist on Fatty's panel.
Of course, because he came up and proved himself.
Fatty did prove that he was not racist, that he didn't agree with what Goat was saying. So to me, Mish. I
mean, that's the thing with blacks, in my opinion. You never know where they stand. Yep. From one issue to the next. Half the time, the niggas are lying. The other time, right? You know what I'm saying? They're just not being honest. And I don't think, honestly, black people and white people can have genuine relationships, because white people can't be honest with black people. They can't legitimately tell them how they feel about Karmelo Anthony, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, and stuff like that. I don't think they can be honest.
I disagree with you. I
tell everybody how I feel all the time.
But I'm right here right now.
Right, okay, but you're one person. But I'm saying, like, in a work environment, there are consequences.
You're saying,
right? If you tell a black person, hey man, I think. Yeah, hey man, if you're at work, you tell a black person, hey, I think Karmelo Anthony should get 55 years. That black person going, even if you thought he was your friend, he gonna realize, like, wait a minute, this person, this white person is not going along with the program that he's supposed to be going along with. So on and so forth. Racism, all these, think about all the issues that you wouldn't, at a workplace, you wouldn't feel comfortable talking to black people about if you're white. And so then you have to realize, like, you can't really be friends with people that you can't be honest, right? Every day there's probably a new issue that pops up, Chili the Bill or whatever. You can't be honest with black people if you're white in a workplace.
And the funny thing is he kept trying to, Fatty kept trying to pin me down on other cases. He asked me, what do you think about Chud the Builder? I don't know, I don't know the whole thing about Chud the Builder, but based on my limited information, I think Chud the Builder needs to be in prison. Couldn't get me on that. So then he said, well, what about George Zimmerman? I said, well, no, George Zimmerman should clearly have gotten off for killing Trayvon Martin in the act of self-defense. Oh, I gotcha. So he waited until there was a case where the black person either got killed or murdered or got put in prison, and that I agreed with that, and that proved that I was a racist when in the beginning I said, look, man, if Austin did the same thing to Karmelo that Karmelo did to Austin belongs in prison. That's why this again is why he chimped out, and then he left. He rage quit. I've been here the whole time. We've told Goat he can come back. It is what it is.
Yeah, this is where I think a lot of people need to. This is where I just, to me, everything will be a lot easier if we just go based off principle, right? The principle of the problem is that a young man's life was taken by another young man, and the man that took his life should face a penalty for ending the life of a young person,
regardless of race.
Regardless of race. It doesn't matter if they're black, white, Latino, purple, gay, straight. I don't care about your social class. I don't care about your sexual background. I don't care about your religious background. If you ended a life unwarranted, not legally justified, then you should face the punishment of said action. And this is the problem that I have. We do this with women. We do this with people or minority groups. We try to minimize what they have done because they're a minority. No, if you are a woman and you diddled your student in school,
yes,
you should face the same crime as a man who diddles a kid in school. Like, there shouldn't be less sentencing. You shouldn't get less time in prison because you have a uterus. No, you should serve the same amount of time and have to register as a sex offender. If you are white and you stab a black kid in the heart, you should go to prison for the same amount of time as a black kid would stab a white man in the heart. I don't care. It's the principle. If it's the principle, then you don't have nothing to argue about.
Yep.
And well, I think.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think in the case of Karmelo Anthony, again, there's some deeper issues that came into play. I think very few people talked about this. Again, he moved to a very, very affluent, non-black neighborhood. Those things are true. So where were the character witnesses? He probably moved away from any church he ever attended. If he ever went to church, you saw who the ghetto-ass pastor of the church he went to, that Bishop Eli. He's kind of ghetto. He's been in prison. So
I agree with Miss D. I think women should get more time in prison. I agree with her.
So, there were clips of him saying, of some of his classmates saying, I only knew him for fighting. So he couldn't have many teachers or counselors or principals testify on his behalf in the victim impact, the character segment of the trial. And so I think you're getting kind of an idea of what kind of person he was by what wasn't said about him. And I think you really have to pay attention to that. And I think that's why he got so much time, on top of the family not showing any kind of conciliatory attitude toward the victim family. They immediately start painting those people as racist and stuff like that. It's weird to paint a victim as a racist and bullies and stuff like that. They probably should have just accepted what their son had done and then just threw themselves at the mercy of the court. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that and I think the outrage, the post outrage of people peeing on this young man's graveside and stuff like that is just distasteful. It's just completely distasteful, and it speaks to a culture that that's very problematic. I think is detrimental to a cohesive society. It says, I mean, not to get biblical on you guys, but it says love is not when justice is not served. No, love is when justice is served, not when injustice is served.
That's all right.
So, we're lacking a love of humanity when we are seeing outrage over justice. When we get outraged over due process.
Right. And a lot of people like to blame, they like to blame the fact that the defense didn't call any character witnesses for Karmelo. Did it ever occur to these niggas that the reason why there were no character witnesses for Karmelo is because they couldn't find a good one? Did it ever occur to them? And again, somebody said it in the chat. Not only, see, this is what niggas tend to just sort of choose to ignore. Karmelo Anthony was known for fighting, just like you said. People said, I only knew him for fighting, number one. Number two, he got suspended from school earlier in the year for doing what class? Bringing a knife to school. It was just said Austin Metcalf was a bully. If Austin Metcalf were such a bully, then why didn't anybody point that out during the trial? All of these rumors, all of these make-believe extenuating circumstances that people like to, that niggas like to take, and use as gospel. None of it was ever mentioned in the court of law. It's absolutely incredible. The delusion is crazy.
Real quick, I want to take care of something else. Mrs. D, yes, Uncle Tom wants to have a Jake rattlesnake debate part 2. If you could ask Jake if he would want to come over here on my channel, I will facilitate said debate. I think that would be a good laugh, in my opinion. But
thanks for putting this together, man. And listen,
no
I'm not going to declare victory or defeat. I'm going to leave that to the audience. I'm going to leave that to the audience. I think my opinion is I think I purported myself very well. I think I explained. I think I was very articulate in my points. Yeah, I lost a little control here and there. I'll go ahead and cop to and admit to that. But this is what happens when people are yelling over you, talking over you, threatening you, blah 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 blah. No excuse. It is what it is. But I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, I won this debate. I will let the people decide.
Yeah, you, the people of the audience, are the deciders of this. If you guys think that Donovan won, feel free to say so. For those people that think that Fatty won, feel free to say so. I just wanted to host a conversation or a debate to clear the air on what they're actually talking about. And I think that we were able to facilitate that today. So I appreciate you guys. For all of you that are watching, please hit the like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Gentlemen, please stay in the background. You know what I always say? I like to end this, Donovan. I think you'll agree with this. I tell women, like, ladies, if you just follow these 3 easy steps that I write about and I talk about, you can keep your man loving you for the rest of your life. All you got to do is follow these 3 easy steps.
This is the Good Wife's Guide to help you, young wives, be a great wife for your husband. Step 1, cleaning. That's right. It's always pleasant to come home to a clean house. So ladies, make sure that you are in your proper cleaning clothes and cleaning the house, for when your husband gets home, he can see that you have kept the home tidy for him. And always let him catch you cleaning, especially in that outfit. It makes him so full of joy. Next up, cooking. That's right, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Make sure that his dinner is ready when he comes home. And don't forget to wear that little outfit you're supposed to wear when you're cooking your man a meal. You know the one. And finally, bedtime. When you're going to bed, ladies, make sure you put on one of those sexy little nighties to entice your husband and let him know that right now is the time for him to enjoy the youth of his wife right before he goes to dreamland, where he could dream all about it all over again. And that concludes
This episode was brought to you by Tactical Soap from Grondike Soap Company, a game changer in men's grooming. Crafted with natural pheromones, it's designed to elevate your alpha status, masculinity, attractiveness, and charisma. Each bar is meticulously formulated to invigorate your sense and leave you feeling confident and irresistible. Unleash your true potential with Tactical Soap and command attention wherever you go. Order now by using the link in the description of this video.